Hello, this is a quick video about the Careforit app. The Careforit app is an app that gives you direct access to our rostering system. It allows you to add notes to the service you're providing, and more importantly, it allows you access to medication information. Now, the first thing that we will look at is how we download the app. It's available on the Android platform. What you have to do is go to your Play Store, which is represented by the little Play Store triangle thing in the bottom right hand corner of this phone. So now Play Store, you do your search for Careforit. Now I've already got it installed, but when you do a search for Careforit, there's two versions. One of them is the Careforit, and one of them is Careforit Carer. The one that you want is Careforit Carer. So you click on it and you download it. Now, obviously, I've already got it downloaded, so all I have to do is open it. Now, I'll log out first so I can show you how it works. So when you download it and you first get started, you will see a page like this. What you need to do is to use your Careforit login and password. This is completely different to your CM2000. This is a Careforit email and password. If you don't know, I mean, you would know your email. The email is the email that you receive your rotas from for Lifecare. And if you don't know your password, what you need to do is contact your coordinator, who will send you a password reset. So I'm going to log in. And I'm going to enter my password. Click on sign in. Now it takes me to my shifts. Okay, now with Careforit, what you can find is that you can access your rotas for the next 5 days. So today is Saturday the 7th. If I scroll across, I can see the shifts for the 8th, the 9th. I don't have any shift on the 9th, the 10th, or the 11th. Okay, so you can see your shifts for the next 5 days. You can't see any of the previous days. So this shows you your rota for each of those days. Now, what you can see here, that this is a rota for a test support worker. And what you can see, if we look at this bottom one here, you can see that the service user is called test. We've got details of the address there and what kind of shift it is. The late shift is escorting. So firstly, what you can see if you click on info is that it shows you the address. It shows you the care plan details here. So the information that your shift information. That's when you press on info. Okay, now if you press on anywhere on your service user, you see 3 options arrive. Now you will see, well, firstly you will see the image of your service user. So this particular service user that I clicked on, so as you can see, this service user is Mr. Test. I pressed on it. This service user is called Mr. Test. His date of birth is 010/1970, and you can see the 3 options for medication, notes, and previous visits. So previous visits, quite simply, it shows you the previous 5 visits, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and it shows you who went. So the previous visits were all by test support worker, as you can see here, and you can see the types of visit is. The little green dots shows that test support worker logged in for some shift. The red dots shows that it doesn't log in, but don't worry about that for the meantime. So that's what the previous visit tells you. Now the next bit, which is very important, is for notes. Now just remember that this app is to be used not for logging in and out. This app is to be used to do with the work that you do with a service user. the CM2000 app is still the one that you use to log in and out. You can still send messages on your CM2000 app. You can still send messages on your CM2000 app if you're running late, anything to do with the timing of the shift. Okay, that goes on CM2000. This app is to do with the work that you actually do with a service user, anything to do with a service that you provide. So we don't use this app for logging in and out. We can use this app for giving information about the shift that we have done with the service user. So the notes, on the notes here, what you can see is the previous notes that have gone into the system. All of it has been entered by a test support worker, so you can get access to that. Now, if I press you can see the little plus button on the bottom right hand corner. Now, if you want to add a note for this service, for this particular shift that you've done, you press the plus, and then you send in a note. Service user, I don't know what kind of notes are we sending. Service user wants a shift to be earlier tomorrow. So that kind of thing you can send through. Please change contact service user to confirm. So this is us, this is you, the carer, sending a message to the office about something that you've spoken with a service user about. Okay, so that goes through, and that's how you send a message. That will come straight through to us on the Careforit system, and we should be able to action it for you. Just remember that anything to do with safeguarding, you do not just send a message. Anything to do with safeguarding, if you're concerned about your service user in any way, you still need to contact the office. You need to make sure that you speak with someone in the office. You don't just send a message. You can also send a message, but what you must do is make sure you speak to someone in the office and you take the name of the person that you spoke to about any concerns that you raised. Do also send a message after you've spoken to someone on this system. That is the best practice. Now, the next item here is probably the most important item with regards to this app. It's to do with medication. So you can see here, this service user, Mr. Test, has 7 items of medication. So when we press the medication, it shows the 7 items of medication. Now, as you know, we have the RMR chart should list all the names of the medication. So there shouldn't be any confusion about what medication is being taken. Now, if your service user has a blister pack, the information on both the paper MAR charts that you have in the service user's house and on this EMAR chart should be exactly the same. And it should be exactly the same as what you see on the packets of medication or the blister pack, whatever you're using to administer medication. Very importantly, if there's any slight bit of difference between the information that we have here and the information that you see on a packet of medication that you have in the service user's house, it's crucial that you contact the office. You can send a message as well afterwards, but it's very important that you contact the office to say that there's a bit of difference between what we have on a MAR chart and what you can see on the the blister pack, for example. Now, what is important is that when you're administering medication, you have to take the time to read. You have to take the time to look at what you're actually giving to the service user. Now, you can see the Careforit is to be taken once a day at breakfast time. Now, if we remember, the shift that I'm going in for is 2000 to 2100. It's the last shift of the day. So when I go back to medication, I can see that I am not given that top one. looking at the digoxin is given 4 times per day. Now, what should happen here is that it should be clear. Your coordinator should make it clear on the instructions here that it is one tablet to be taken at breakfast time, one to be taken at lunchtime, one to be taken at tea time, and one to be taken at night time. The information here should specify when exactly the medication is to be taken. Now, I know that I've, let's say for example, that I've contacted my coordinator and they've said, yes, this medication is to be taken one at on this current shift. And that's clarified, and they've told me that they would amend the information here. So by the time I come in tomorrow, I shouldn't see this. So if I press here, the digoxin, which I know is to be given one to be taken 4 times per day, and one of them is a nighttime shift. I press here. Now it brings up this option. Again, you have the instructions, and then it gives you the time. So this is the final shift of the day, so I'm selecting my option here. This is the evening nighttime. Okay, it says that I should be given one tablet 4 times a day. So I press here, one. And the action is, you can see now there's a number of options here as to what we're doing with medication. So there's administered, prompt, refused, nausea, hospital, leave, destroyed, discontinued, withheld, not required, out of supply, not available. Now, our policy now is that if you have a MAR chart, then what is expected is that we will be administering medication. Now, administering means obviously that you provide the medication to your service user. Now, they can take it themselves. It doesn't mean that you put it in their mouth. They can take the medication themselves, but you need to observe them taking the medication and make sure that it's been taken. Only then have you administered it. If there's for any reason during your shift that you cannot see, you cannot administer the medication, for example, the service user is not going to take the medication in your presence, then what needs to happen is that firstly you need to contact the office, because it could be that this person doesn't need medication administration, they might need some other kind of medication support. But firstly, before you put any other options on here, you need to contact the office and they will clarify with you what needs to be done. But just let's say, imagine in this example, I am administering medication. I've seen my service user take the medication, they've swallowed it, I've spoken to them, so I know that it's not in their mouth. I'm going to press here, administered. And once I press administered, I press submit. You can see the medication has been administered. Okay, so I can carry on. This one says one to be taken once per day, one to be taken at breakfast time. The omeprazole, one to be taken 1 time per day at breakfast time. Thiamine, one to be taken 1 time per day at breakfast. Vitamin B, 2 to be taken, one to be taken 2 times per day if required. Now it doesn't tell me whether the 2 times per day is for the dinner shift. So what I will do in this occasion, I will call my coordinator and clarify, is the vitamin B compound tablet, is it meant for the evening time? And they will clarify. So let's make the assumption that it was one to be taken at bedtime as well. We press that, select the option, it's evening dinner time, tick, and I have administered. Just remember, if for any reason I cannot see the service user take the medication during this shift, I had to call the office and get clarification about what to do. But on this occasion, let's say the service user needed it and took it, I press administered and submit. Okay, now the last one, 2 to be taken twice every 1 day. So thiamine, 2 to be taken twice daily, once at breakfast and once at bedtime. So I press it, select my option, nighttime, quantity is 2 tablets. Option, I've administered it and I've submitted. So what happens is that I would also do exactly the same thing on the paper MAR chart. The reason why you fill out the paper MAR chart is just in case you have a family member or someone else, or maybe even the emergency services or social workers come in to see what's happening with the service user. And if there's a blank MAR chart, then there's obviously going to be concerns that medication has been not being administered. So it's very important that you fill out the paper MAR chart as well correctly. Okay, now if you don't know how to fill out the paper MAR chart, again, contact your coordinator. If there's any issue with the paper MAR chart, contact your coordinator and they will get clarification for you. Okay, so that is it with regards to the Careforit app. So from now on, if you can download the app yourself, put it onto your phone and start using it, what we expect to see is lots and lots of communication directly from you through this app system. The whole point of it is to bring you guys closer to the office as carers, because we need to know you need a support from the office, and we also need to keep close to you to understand what is happening with the service users. We need the knowledge that you have coming through directly to the system, so that we can improve the service that we are providing to the service users. Okay, so once again, if you have any questions about any of this, please contact your coordinator. Thank you very much.